We had two big moves. Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
We got a new corner, Kerry Vincent Jr. Rookie out of LSU, traded for a 6th round draft choice. Hopefully he comes in and actually plays all right. I'm not gonna be high on him until I get to see him in midnight green. But Kerry Vincent Jr. is officially an Eagle, and we only had to trade a 6 for him. With the bigger trades, we did get Melvin Ingram to Kansas City, which we had talked about, and it seemed like it wasn't going to happen as Pittsburgh didn't want to move him inside the AFC, and I'm guessing nobody else even offered anything. So Kansas City walked away with Melvin
At this
Ingram.
point, I have to agree. Like, I feel like this is a steal for Kansas City. They got a guy who can still produce on the edge, which is not their strongest suit. They have a couple of decent defensive linemen who rush the passer, but Ingram is definitely an upgrade for them on one side of their defensive line. They only gave up a 6th round pick to do it. It also tells me that organization does not believe that they're out of this year's playoff hunt. Um, so they're definitely going to be boosting the morale in the locker room because this is showing, that the front office still feels like this is a playoff team. So it's shown faith in their guys. They believe the roster they have put together can make the playoffs and make a run. So they're adding pieces and losing draft capital. To me, the move makes a ton of sense for Kansas City. A 6th round pick. Where's he going to get on the field on that team? More than likely not. Melvin Ingram instantly can come in and make an impact for your team. But that's my thoughts on that matter. You know, it looks like nobody made an offer, obviously, because Pittsburgh was not trying to, or at least an NFC team didn't make a viable offer because they were not trying to trade him in the AFC, as Matt alluded to. So, a bit of a surprising move, but I think the bigger surprise was the other blockbuster trade that went down that everybody's heard about right now, and that's Von Miller to the Rams for a 2022 second and a 2022 third-round pick. What are your thoughts on the big Von Miller trade?
The Von Miller trade is huge. We had discussed this yesterday, right after the trade had went down. Uh, the Rams are only going to pay 700,000 of the 9.7 due to Von Miller, which is why they more
Yep.
than likely gave up a 2-3 next year. Their idea is to keep Von Miller long term, adding a pass rusher who's top 5, I believe, in hurries,
Yep.
to go with the number 2 hurry guy in the league, and Aaron Donald, and you have your shutdown
Yeah.
corner and Jalen Ramsey. This team, you didn't think they could get better.
Ton of playmakers.
You
Ton
you
of playmakers.
you didn't think they could get better, and then all of a sudden they go and they trade for Von Miller, and now this team looks like it's 10 times better than what it was last week. It's really going to tell how good this team is once they step on the field and if they can gel together. If Vaughn and Aaron Donald could get on the same page right away, this is a scary, scary front four. It takes a lot of pressure off Jalen Ramsey, which is scary for quarterbacks to think of, that a corner is going to be able to play so freely because he knows his front four is going to get home with Donald and Vaughn, that he could maybe make a mistake here or there and try to go for the pick. And, now you got a little bit more of an aggressive Jalen Ramsey, who is already aggressive as it is. So I feel like this is going to help
Yeah.
that defense so much more if they can gel. That's going to be my biggest watch for this team is, can Von fit the Rams defense? If he fits the Rams defense the way that the Rams thought he would when they made this deal, this defense is scary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, as you stated, Von Miller still playing at an elite level right now. Uh, and now you're giving him better pieces to work with even than what Denver has. And Denver had a good front with him too, but you know they don't have Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is a different type of player than pretty much any D lineman in the league. So, and I mean, they have generated a great pass rush all season. Now you're just adding another elite level pass rusher to this team. It makes them scary to me, even scarier than they were. You also have Leonard Floyd on that team, who gets home as well. I mean, and he's going to play the opposite end from Von Miller, so you're going to have both those guys on the same field at the same time with the best pass rushing defensive tackle in the league and Aaron Donald in the center. They are going to generate a ton of pressure on the quarterback. It's going to allow Jalen Ramsey to play free, like you just said, even more than normal. He's going to be able to probably force some more turnovers than he even has been. The Rams are, as they tweeted out, definitely all in. The deal makes sense to me. They don't need draft capital right now. Their window to win a championship is now and for the next couple seasons. So for them to hold on to these picks to develop talent, where's that talent going to play on this team? They have elite players at every level of the ball on both sides of the ball. So the draft capital isn't necessary for them right now. They are trying to build a roster that can go win a championship. And guess what? If it doesn't work out and this team can't win a championship and they want to turn around and rebuild and get young again, they'll just turn around and trade all these guys away and get all these picks back. Could you imagine what an Aaron Donald fields on the market right now? If Von Miller's worth a 2 and a 3, they still have equity. They just don't have draft equity. If it doesn't work out, they're still going to be able to get return for these guys if they want to do a rebuild. But they're not in that mindset. They're all in, and they are one of the favorites in the NFL with this roster to win a title.
All right, so moving off of the trades, we're going to keep it inside the signings, releases, injury reports. First, injury report, Derrick Henry is out for the year. Possibly. He may be able to return for the playoffs.
As soon as 6 weeks.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I could see him returning for the playoffs.
I think they'll hold him out a little longer than that. But it's been reported that there is a possibility he could be back as early as 6 weeks. It should only take as long as 9 weeks, but it could take longer, obviously, if there's any complications. So this is a huge blow to Tennessee, though.
Derrick Henry out, Adrian Peterson in. Yes, 500-year-old Adrian Peterson signed with the Tennessee Titans for the rest of the season. He will be the starting running back in Tennessee. New Orleans Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas will not touch the field this year. Not shocking. Nope. He is not happy to be there, and it's showing because he's finding every reason to not play. On the Michael Thomas injury yesterday before the trade deadline, the New Orleans Saints were trying to work out a deal with the Cleveland Browns for wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. The deal fell through. There's reports today that Odell Beckham Jr. is not at Cleveland's practice, and there is a possibility that Cleveland will release Odell within the next week because nobody wanted to take on the $8.5 million before the trade deadline. So him being released could possibly see the idea of him in New Orleans maybe in the next 2 weeks. And this is all coming after Odell Beckham Sr. posted an 11-minute clip on, I believe, Instagram, pointing out every single time Baker Mayfield did not throw the ball to his son that was wide open on multiple plays. So it looks like we're going to have a little bit of trouble over in Cleveland. And I don't believe... Oh, last thing. We had Jameis Winston get hurt, tore his ACL. There's been reports by one person that there is a quarterback that is interested in playing in New Orleans, and that would be Mr. 39-year-old Phillip Rivers. So we could see two veterans that are over 37 between AP and Phillip Rivers both get contracts within the next 2 weeks. AP got his, maybe Phillip gets his, and they're back in the league ready to play.